and a very warm welcome to yet another fascinating edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and the achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. I am Amina Jibril. Now, coming up on CAC Weekly, CAC shines as Registrar General joins global panelists discussing beneficial ownership principles in Washington. Also, NBA Gwagwalada Lot CAC reform initiatives. Plus, we shall look at more groups congratulating the CAC on the successful launch of Africa's first beneficial ownership register, BOR. Stay tuned for all of this right after this break.
As mentioned, I'm the Executive Director of Open Ownership, and it's been our privilege to be alongside the CAC now for 6 or 7 years, providing support and technical advice to get us to where we are today. Today has been 7 years in the making. The initial commitment to this in May of 2016 sets the ball rolling. And here we are 7 years later celebrating the launch of what I think is a fantastic piece of work that really is a beacon to the world about how to deliver effective reform of transparency and beneficial ownership. Those 7 years, though, have been challenging, and it's required significant determination on all parts to get us here today. And I want to pay tribute to the Registrar General, all of the technical team at the Corporate Affairs Commission, and everyone involved in pushing so hard for so long to bring us here today. The partnership that we have had with the CAC has been phenomenal, and it's an honour to count you both as colleagues and friends. As I say, Nigeria now has something to be extremely proud of, and the world is watching what happens next.
Welcome back to the program. If you're just joining, it is CAC Weekly. And today on CAC Weekly, we begin with a report from the United States of America, which marked another milestone achievement for the CAC. Now, the Registrar General and CEO of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, has recently been speaking to the international community on Nigeria's journey to establishing the first beneficial ownership register, BOR, in Africa. Now, Alhaji Garba Abubakar spoke to the admiration of his audience at the Anti-Corruption for Development Summit in Washington, D.C. He was on the panel session on the implementation of beneficial ownership transparency principles in Nigeria alongside counterparts from North Macedonia. Now, the international summit was organized by the World Bank and other partners, including the Open Ownership and Returning Assets. Our viewers may recall that on Wednesday, May 24th to Thursday, 25th, 2023, the CAC recorded another milestone achievement when it unveiled the Beneficial Ownership Register, BOR, the first in Africa. As a follow-up to the groundbreaking event, a 3-day multilateral peer exchange event on practical aspects of implementing beneficial ownership reforms was rounded up with applause for the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, for implanting far-reaching reforms to improving its operations. The gathering, which drew stakeholders from Kenya, Liberia, Namibia, South Africa, Germany, and the United Kingdom, was co-organized by the Open Ownership (OO), the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime (UNODC), and the Stolen Assets Recovery Initiative (SDAR). The series of reforms rolled out by the Commission earned its many accolades from both within and outside the country. We say congratulations to the Registrar General and the CAC family. And now we move on to talk about more applause for the CAC, as the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Gwagwalada branch, applauded the reform initiatives of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC. The branch chairman, Emmanuel Tayo Ogunjide, stated this during a courtesy call on the Registrar General and CEO of the CAC, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, in his office. Emmanuel Tayo Ogunjide said they were in the commission to appreciate the Registrar General and show solidarity for the commission's reform initiatives, which he said have contributed immensely to the ease of doing business in the country. He therefore expressed their continued support and cooperation with the commission to ensuring that it realizes its objectives. Responding, the Registrar General and CEO of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, expressed the NBA Gwagwalada branch support and encouragement. The RG stressed that the CAC reforms were not targeted at lawyers but were aimed at enhancing service delivery in accordance with the Ease of Doing Business initiative of the federal government. He therefore restated the Commission's resolve to ensuring continuous improvement in its services in line with global best practices and assured mutual support and cooperation within the NBA Gwagwalada. Now, CAC Weekly reports that during the visit, an award of excellence for amazing contributions and outstanding achievement was presented to the Registrar General by the NBA Gwagwalada branch. From that now, we move on to another aspect of activities in the CAC. More individuals and groups have been paying solidarity visit to the CAC over the milestone achievements recorded with the successful unveiling of the Beneficial Ownership Register BOR. The newest amongst them was the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch, led by the Executive Director Umar Yakubu to the Commission on a congratulatory visit. Umar Yakubu stressed that transparency and integrity of record were key to the success of the BOR. He therefore enjoined the CAC to ensure the integrity and transparency of the records as well as guarantee frequent improvement where necessary for the benefit of its valued users. He added that the Center was always ready to partner with the Commission in that regard. While responding, the Registrar General Alhaji Garba Abubakar assured that the CAC will continue to improving its ICT infrastructure with a view to providing efficient services as the only government agency with a full self-service portal. On the Centre's request for collaboration, the Registrar General assured that the Commission's ICT team was ready to work out modalities within the framework of the law. Now let's talk more about collaboration. The collaboration between the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, and the Abuja Enterprise Agency, AEA, moved to another level on June 22, 2023. A one-day FCT MSME one-stop shop sensitization program and business clinics for MSMEs was held at the premises of the AEA, with several owners of small businesses in attendance. As usual, CAC's award-winning desk officer, Habu Bala, was on hand to offer guidance to the participants and provide tips on how to successfully register their business online. It is now time to shift gears to our interviews segment. As we reported earlier to you that the CAC had on Wednesday, May 24th to Thursday, May 25th, 2023, recorded another milestone achievement when it unveiled the Beneficial Ownership Register BOR. Let's join the Registrar General Haji Garba Abubakar for the second part of our review as he brings us up to speed on the BOR and upcoming projects for the Commission as it continues to make history. Do enjoy watching this interview.
But let me jump in here. What about onshore companies? We've heard the Pandora Papers, the Panama Papers. What happened to those kind of companies?
Well,
because people are very creative when it comes to money laundering, corruption,
well,
and all of that.
if any offshore company is going to be a shareholder in a Nigerian company, they must disclose their beneficial owners. It's no longer the case where you just put the name of a company and the address of the company as a shareholder. You must disclose the individuals that ultimately control these companies. So if a company registered in Panama is investing in any entity in Nigeria, beyond putting the name of that Panama company and its registration details, those that control, they must provide the particulars of the natural persons that actually control these Panama companies. So this is what we have done. And the information, as I said, is publicly available. And if any false information is submitted, that is criminal. And on conviction, the person that submitted the information will be liable to 2 years jail term on conviction.
Are there mechanisms to quickly check information that are not correct?
Well, sometimes on the face of the database, you may not know. Sometimes the inconsistency may be revealed through investigation.
Okay.
You know, the beneficial ownership is not an end in itself. It's a means to an end.
Okay.
The essence is the information is there. Anybody can check. If in the course of investigation, sometimes the truth may not come out until long afterwards.
Yes.
So if in the course of investigation it's discovered that although Mr. A's name is the one in the register, but the person that actually benefits from the dividends being paid by the company is another person, that is a pointer that the person whose name is in the register is not actually the beneficial owner. It's somebody else. And in the course of investigation, this can easily be tracked. You see, registry services provides information for users, for end users, be it individuals, be it other companies, be it government, be it international organizations, be it civil society or media. That's why the register is a public register. Under the law, all information being received and maintained by the CAC is public information. Any member of the public can access this information upon payment of the requisite fee. The only restriction provided under CAMA 2020 relates to personal information, particularly the residential address of the individual. He may choose to restrict the residential address. On our own, we decided to add other restrictions in the company's regulation. Because of issues, concerns about identity hijack, we don't publish your actual date of birth.
Okay.
So we put the month and the year.
Okay.
Because if somebody knows your actual date of birth, it's possible for him to actually hijack your identity. We are doing this from experience. In the past, anybody can come and obtain certified copies of documents. Those certified copies will have the actual date of birth and every information about you, including even your national ID number or your driver's license number. That is no longer the case. All these informations are blocked from the public view.
Okay.
Because the system is electronic. It's very easy for you now to determine what can be made public and what cannot be made public.
Okay.
Yes.
In the era of hacking and cybercrime and all of that, how safe is the register?
The register is safe because we are hosting in the best hosting environment. We have all the necessary protection, and we have replication in 2 other sites. So in the event of any data breach in the primary site, we have 2 other secondary sites. We can actually recover without any data loss. And the replication happens almost instantaneously.
And for everybody who attended that event, and they've been full of praises for you and for the CAC, but beyond, helping government anti-corruption agencies to fight money laundering and all of that, what is the driving force for you?
The driving force is to make Nigeria at par with the global community. Beneficial ownership disclosure is a global issue. And under the Financial Action Task Force 40+ recommendation, countries are supposed to have a register of beneficial owners. Then, at a later stage, Nigeria joined the OGP and the EITI. And these 2 bodies, part of what they drive, part of the principles they emphasize on is countries must have registers of beneficial ownership. As I have said, as at the time this commitment was made, there was no legal framework for beneficial ownership disclosure. So the Companies and Island Matters was repealed and reenacted. After the reenactment of CAMA, in November, it was assented to in November 2020.
Okay.
We had to start the implementation. And we couldn't start implementation without incorporating beneficial ownership disclosure. We started receiving data on beneficial ownership, but a standalone register was not yet in place until we got funding from the World Bank under the Fiscal Governance and Institutional Project Initiative of the Federal Ministry of Finance, with support from the OGP as well. So we quickly have to start work, and the register was built within a very short time, and which was launched on the 25th of May. So the register that was built is the first beneficial ownership register in Africa that is designed and built in line with beneficial ownership data standard. The only few countries that have this are UK and some few other countries. So Nigeria is the first in Africa to have this register in line with beneficial ownership data standard. And what made our register different from others is this is a publicly available register. If you go to Ghana, it's not publicly available because the concern is about revenue. For in our own case, President Muhammadu Buhari made a commitment in London in 2016 that Nigeria will have a central publicly available register. So our own register was implemented in line with that commitment and is publicly available at no cost to any interested person. So this is what we have done, and the register is there for anybody to access and to use. And at least, if anything, we have closed on some of the gaps observed under the the OGP and the ITI, as well as the FATF. Because year in, year out, we are recording non-conformity on beneficial ownership. Or in some areas, we are recording partially compliant. But with this register, we are fully compliant in line with FATF standard. And we believe with this initiative and with what has been achieved, our journey to exiting the grey list of FATF will be realized within the shortest possible time. We have a window of 2 years. But with this and other initiatives by other agencies, we'll exit the grey list in less than a year or within the first year.
What impact does this have on the collaboration and synergy you have with other agencies of government?
Yes. You see, you cannot divorce beneficial ownership from public procurement because the Bureau for Public Procurement is interested in knowing who is bidding for public contracts, who is behind the company. And we have integration with them. It allows them to validate the information that the company has supplied them with and be satisfied that what the company actually provided is correct. Secondly, the system tells you the status of the company. Under the Public Procurement Act, any company that is under any form of arrangement, such as receivership, administration, liquidation, is not eligible to bid for any contract. So the integration allows them to validate. Apart from the affidavit that may be submitted by the company or the undertaking that may be given by the company, they can instantly confirm from our database whether some of these undertaking or affidavits are actually correct. So other agencies like the EFCC, the ICPC, the police, and even foreign embassies in Nigeria, they have access to this information. And it has eased their burden. They can easily check when you apply for visa using your company as the entity that is funding your trip. They don't just give you visa on the strength of what you submit to them. They have to validate this information. So with this electronic access, at least they can easily check electronically without having to write to us or having to request the customer to start bringing one document after the other. So it has eased their burden and it has made the process for visa issuance less cumbersome and faster. Okay. So this data is not our data, it's a national data that can be accessed. And as a deliberate policy, we don't charge when we are providing information to any government agency and in foreign embassies.
It's free of charge.
It's free of charge. Not just information about beneficial ownership, which is generally free. Even information about the ownership and control of these companies, information about encumbrances pertaining to these companies. These informations are made available at no cost to all government organizations because this is government data and we have a responsibility to support other government organizations in the discharge of their statutory mandate. And we expect the same thing from them. When we have need to request for any information from any government agency, we expect this reciprocity because if we are giving you information for free, we expect that you also give us information for free.
Okay. As we wind down, what are the sustainability measures that are going to be put in place? Because this register is going to outlive for many, many years.
Yeah, sustainability, this is just an addendum to the main registrar of companies. And as I have said, registration services started in Nigeria as far back as 2012. We are still keeping records of companies registered as far back as that time. So we have sustained it and will continue to sustain it. But with digitization, we started full automation in January 2021. As we speak, almost all our services are provided electronically. And I have mentioned the issue of replication because what is important is if you have a database, you can't afford to have one single point of failure. So this data is replicated. In the event of any mishap in the primary side or any of the secondary sides, you can have recourse to the other side. Our staff have been trained and they are adequately equipped to render services to customers. Staff work from anywhere, at any time of the day, any day of the week. And we'll continue to do that. And Nigerians are the ones that will appraise us. But what I can tell you is we are above our peers. I can tell you there is no agency that renders services in the manner that we do in CAC. because we don't have weekends, we don't have public holidays. So we work any time of the day, any day of the week.
All right. Before the year runs out, what other surprises does Alhaji Garba Abubakar has for the Commission and Nigerians?
Well, we have other initiatives that we're trying to bring on board, but the most important aspect is enforcement.
Okay.
We've discovered that a lot of people thought registration of companies is a one-off affair. They register a company. Sometimes the company may be active. In real sense, they may be doing business, or they may have property in the name of that company. But they don't discharge their obligations under the law. They don't file any returns with CAC. They don't update their beneficial ownership information. They only remember CAC, maybe when an embassy sent them back that, look, you cannot use this account.
Okay.
Or when they try to bid for public procurement and BPP tells them that, look, you are not on the CAC portal or you are not on the BPP portal because your status is inactive in CAC. We are collaborating with other agencies to have zero tolerance to all this. Every company must file its annual returns and beneficial ownership information. And another thing we are doing is we will soon strike up companies from the register. Companies that have not filed returns for up to 10 years, they will soon leave the register. We'll change their status from inactive to struck off. But before doing that, we'll publish the names of these companies and give them opportunity to come and update these records. Okay. If they fail to update within the defined time frame, then their status will change to struck off. And the implication of striking off a name is you can't access your funds any longer with the bank.
Okay.
You cannot carry on any business. And if you have any property, that property is deemed to be a lost property and will be vested in the government, whenever cancha. Because it's like finding a property on the street that doesn't belong to anybody. So if you have a company that is struck off, that is like a lost property. Whatever asset you have, whatever money you have in your bank account will be vested in the government. You won't be able to access this money. Okay. But you have an opportunity to apply to court to release that company. Or if there is any creditor that has given loan to this company,
yes.
That person can apply to the court to reinstate the company for him to be able to recover his outlay from the company. So other than that, whatever asset the company has will be vested in the government.
Okay, so that is the big building stick that is coming.
Yes, that is one. Secondly, we are in line with popular demand from our customers. We are working towards having a wallet. Okay. So a customer does not have to be paying per transaction. You can deposit some money in bulk. As you do your registration services, then your account will be debited.
Yeah.
Yes, because sometimes the payment gateway sometimes may have issues. We have only one single point of failure. It's only remitter. That's the only gateway available, in line with government policy. So customers don't have options to use other gateways. Sometimes where remitter is down, they have difficulty making payments.
And that slows down revenue generation, isn't
No,
it?
no, not necessarily, because they will eventually come back and pay.
Okay.
But with the wallet, you already have their account. You know how much they have spent. For any subsequent transactions they are coming to do, you just debit their account. So it makes it easy for customers to transact. So, and as I said, we will intensify on enforcement drive. We'll begin to carry out inspection of companies to check whether they are actually maintaining the register of beneficial owners. So we're undertaking several visits to different companies across different states of the Federation to confirm if they are maintaining the statutory registers that the law asks them to maintain.
Okay.
And the penalty for non-compliance is heavy. So it's in their interest to actually do what is necessary, to do what the law says they should do. Not just putting the names in the register, they should also come and file the information with the CAC. And when there is any change, they're supposed to update their records with the CAC. Okay. So these are some of the initiatives, because largely most of the reforms have come to fruition. What we are concerned with now is the effectiveness of these reforms. But virtually all what we have set out to do, we have achieved them. So what remains now, as you said, is sustainability and effectiveness of some of these reforms.
All right. Registrar General, thank you very much indeed for your time as always.
Thank you for having me.
It is always a delight to have Alhaji Garba Abubakar on the interview segment. And it is on that note that we come to the end of this week's edition of the program, CAC Weekly. We do hope you enjoyed watching. Remember, for comments and enquiries, you can please take advantage of our social media handles and our call center. On Twitter, it is at CAC Nigeria 1. On Instagram and Facebook, it is Corporate Affairs Commission. Our email is cservice@cac.gov.ng. You could visit our website via www.cac.gov.ng. On our call center, 0708 062 9000. Join us again next week for yet another interesting edition of the program, CAC Weekly. Same time and same station. It is Amina Jibril saying bye for now.